1600s, France and Spain just couldn't seem to agree on anything. And as for the wars between them, one almost doesn't know when one begins and the other ends. Now, the one involving our little tale concerns the siege of a strategically placed fortress in the Pyrenees, which the Spaniards had no intention of giving up, and the French had every intention of taking. This war, hard fought though it undoubtedly was, is considered, historically, a war of such minute importance as not even to have been mentioned, along with our fair and noble damsel, Donna Isabella, escorted by her 4 famous French cavaliers, not to say musketeers, to the castle of St. Denis one sultry summer afternoon in the year of our Lord, 1600 and, something or other.
Senorita, you've arrived at your destination.
What destination? And where are we, Captain?
At the castle of St. Denis.
It seems too early to break our journey. I don't feel at all tired, do you? Well, sir, have you become tongue-tied?
I'm afraid this is the end of your journey.
The end? What do you mean? But His Majesty, the King of France's minister, has ordered you to escort me to the Spanish border.
Yes, Senorita. This is what they wanted you to think.
That's impossible. Am I to understand that...
The prisoner?
Senores, I'm a guest here in France, even though my country's at war with yours.
And I'm ashamed of what is happening. For your sake and for the honor of France.
Captain, you're an officer of the king.
Yes, that is right, sir. And I fail to understand how my king could permit such a thing to happen.
How dare you?
Senor.
Accompany the ladies to their lodgings.
At your orders, sir. Will you follow me, please?
What happened that sultry afternoon in France was discussed at length and with some heat at the court of King Philip II of Spain.
I give my word to Sovereign, they'll be sorry for this. The idea of playing such tricks on a king of Spain. Isabella is my cousin, and war is no excuse for reigning families to forget their good manners. Don't you think?
Perhaps the fault was ours, sire.
We shouldn't really have let her come back from Holland at this time, especially as she had to cross enemy territory.
Yes, I admit it was I, with all the impatience of a man in love who urged this voyage. But I must agree with your majesty that certainly royal families should be above a mere conflict.
Let's remember Isabella's father is the Duke of the Asturias, the heroic defender of the fortress of Vandremont.
What do they expect me to do? Give it up?
No, certainly not. They're only aiming to dishearten His Grace the Duke. It would certainly be a cruel blow to him knowing his daughter to be languishing in prison.
A pretty kettle of fish. You know what I think? Behind all this, I detect the trickery of Cardinal Richelieu.
But in any case, he must have acted with the consent of his king.
Agreed. Very true. That means he is a scoundrel as well. He'd merit nothing better than war. That's it. What do you say?
We're already at war with him, sire.
Oh, yes. That's true. I forget. Well, then how can we get even? Well, you tell me. Suggest something. Are you not my counselors? Oh, who's there? Who is that?
Why, it's a message, sire. Give it here.
Let me see it. Let me see it! Zorro!
Unheard of. But that rascal has dared to enter your own grounds.
Captain, don't stand there. Arrest him.
Certainly, Your Majesty, at once. Guards, follow me. Hurry.
Captain, would you mind curbing your impetuosity?
What's that?
Oh, go to the devil.
Don't worry unduly about charming Isabella. She'll be free. She'll be freed by your faithful and devoted subject, Zorro.
Good heavens, sire, you're not corresponding with that rebel, are you?
Why, no, of course not. It was thrown into the room through the window.
I see. He not only breaks heads, but His Majesty's windows as well.
Count Teruel, we are not amused by your son's attempts at wit.
Pardon him, sire. He's come to pay his respects before leaving.
Ah, he's leaving. That's the first good news I've heard all day. I hope you're going far enough.
Yes, very far. To the New World. Happy to be in a position to please your majesty.
Obviously, your plantations in America are of greater interest to you than the war is.
Oh, on the contrary, Count of Seville. Considering the valor of our warriors here at court, victory cannot but be ours.
Your Majesty, my guards are making a thorough search.
A waste of time.
What do you mean by that?
If he's promised to free Donna Isabella, Zorro must be on his way by now.
Do you mean to say you seriously believe such nonsense?
Well, if Zorro were capable of that, I'd annul the death sentence that hangs over him.
But his crimes are far too grave, sire.
He's done really horrible things. For instance, taking the law into his own hands.
Zorro and the law are poles apart. He's only a rebel.
Oh, how true that is. That's just what I meant. However, I don't think in this particular case, his object is to seek your majesty's pardon.
Why don't you think so?
I'm a romantic soul, and I always look at things from the sentimental point of view.
Your point is not very clear.
Let us assume that the Count of Seville has a rival in Zorro.
You must be mad.
Your majesty, love makes the world go round.
Zorro in love with my cousin Isabella? How silly can you be?
Why not, sire? Love is a blind force. And the force behind Zorro's madness could very well be love. In fact, I wonder why the love-stricken Count is not on his way to France.
I was about to ask your majesty's permission before this ridiculous message got here.
Come, my lord. Be sensible. Leave these frivolities to Zorro.
Well spoken, your majesty. One night errant is quite enough.
Grant me this, sire, and I swear I'll not come back.
This is exactly what I fear, my rash count. Isabella is imprisoned in a fortress, in the heart of enemy country, closely guarded day and night. How can you contemplate freeing her all alone?
I won't be alone.
Oh?
A number of brave friends are quite willing to risk their lives along with me.
Very well.
Noble enterprise. Pity I can't take part in it.
No one prevents you.
My better judgment, my lord. Blood and thunder's not for me. Then, too, my ship does sail from Barcelona within the week.
Bon voyage, Count Teruel.
Your Majesty.
Now then, as for you, Count of Seville, very well. If you succeed, you'll marry Isabella. The Lord be with you.
The border, your lordship. Just beyond those poplars.
Please, sir, let's wait for nightfall.
No, we cross now. We must arrive as soon as possible at the Golden Lion Inn.
Hey, you! Get a move on! Excellencies are most welcome.
Take care of the horses and then come in for a drink with us.
Very good, sir. And let's hurry. I'm thirsty. Those are our sentiments.
Come in, sirs. Come in, sirs. My house is yours. Ah, we have company. We've come here to meet a friend. Are you sure you haven't seen any strangers around?
No, just the Cardinal's guards. Let's sit over there in the corner since we gotta wait for the Spaniard anyway.
For company, we have the scarecrows.
If you care to go upstairs, you'll find it very comfortable, Your Excellency.
That's a very good idea. Yes, down here there's a bit of a stench.
Oh, your lordships must be jesting. We wash the place every day.
Really? Strange. I could swear I smell vermin.
Don't move. The orders of the Cardinal are to ignore provocation.
Let's sit over there.
We might as well. He's got to come through this door anyway.
But are you sure you don't want to see the attractive rooms on the floor above?
I already told you we're expecting a friend. And if he didn't see us, he might go away.
Well, get a move on. Bring us some wine, fella.
And once, just a moment, my friend. Don't you detect in the air the song of the raven?
No, you're mistaken. It's the cawing of the crows.
That's more than enough.
The orders must be obeyed. We can act only when absolutely necessary.
After them.
This man is the devil. We'd better run for it. A nice pack of cowards. Bravo!
A brave policy, stabbing in the back.
In your case, it's only your back I've ever seen. Get up on your feet. You'll soon take a long nap.
You'll pay dearly for your insolent meddling, Zorro.
Bravo! You recognize me. It's a pity you won't have time to brag about it. Your technique's not bad, but you have no imagination. And as for agility,
I've agility enough to kill you.
now you've too much imagination.
That remains to be seen. You scum!
What you lack above all is ethics.
You're a perfect example of ethics. You hide your face behind a mask.
It's a matter of habit, Count of Seville. Just as I leave my signature. On guard! And here it is. The Z I've carved on your forehead is a sign of infamy, of treachery.
No one has ever called me a traitor.
It's your title as much as that of Count. And I can prove it at once. Hey, you, stop your trembling and come here.
You mean me?
Yes. Get a move on. Hurry up and search this Spanish grandee.
Sancho, don't you dare touch me.
And don't you touch him.
Luck may be on your side now. But this is the last time, my friend.
Don't be so sure. And you, search him.
Now, not your servant, you know. You might make me obey you by threatening me with death, eh?
All right, search him or you die.
Your pardon, my lord, but I'm threatened with violence.
This will not save you from hanging when you return to Spain.
And if you prefer to die here in France, all you have to do is disobey me.
Put that
Just a
back.
minute. I haven't finished. This is my proof. This is the proof of your treachery. The plans of the fortress besieged by the French. You were going to sell us out to our enemies. This is how you planned to free Isabella. Brave men would have been sacrificed to your treachery. But why should you care? You would have won the hand of Isabella and the dowry that goes with it, the Asturias. Go ahead, burn it.
Yes, sir.
You're destroying the proof
Of your treachery, Lord Count. I don't need any proof, I assure you. I don't have to wait to return to Spain to punish you. I'll kill you here, now. Defend yourself. I'll try for the moment to forget you're a traitor.
Master, he's escaping. Digging that trap was a good idea, especially for the horses in front. But I could have fallen into it too.
Never. When there's danger, you're never near the front.
And now the Count of Seville has escaped. Why did you let him get away?
I'll find him. Don't worry. Well done, Sancho. You gave a wonderful performance.
And if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be more of it.
A lot more, my friend. Do you have any idea where he was going?
Just 2 leagues from here, at the inn of the Golden Lion. They say their wine's very good.
And now let's look for our horses.
Yes, sir.
They're just not what they used to be.
Let's face it, our masters are losing pace.
We're here a good 2 hours, and they still haven't gotten into a fight with the Cardinal's men.
Shh! It's all for reasons of state. It's a secret mission.
Oh, your secret missions.
My master Porthos tells me everything. Everything.
What are you doing? Hey, innkeeper, some wine. You want us to die of thirst?
What kind of a tavern is this? Do we drink or don't we?
I'm coming, gentlemen.
If the Spaniard finds us drunk, it'll be his fault.
Now, what the devil is he coming to do in France?
Well, if the cardinal has swallowed his pride in appealing to us, it means that it's a question of extreme importance.
It had better be. Otherwise, I'll never forgive him taking us away from the siege.
You'll see. It's as I say. A plump ambassador coming to beg for peace. But then why all this mystery? It was clear that sooner or later the Spaniards would surrender.
Look, we don't care what he's coming for, so long as we escort him to the castle of St. Denis.
I would say that possibly if he...
Here, my best wine. I've had stock. To your health.
It smells good.
I
I dug up a treasure in the cellar. Burgundy of the year 1500. Over 100 years old.
And how old is this wine?
I'm not sure, about 70, but it's extraordinary.
Only 70 years old.
This liquid treasure, this gold in a bottle, delight for the palate, joy for the heart, will be dedicated and offered to the valiant captain of the most valiant troops France has ever had.
Thank you. You're very courteous to honor us with that toast. Easy now. Easy.
Oh, well done! Be calm, gentlemen. We're all gentlemen. And a little respect for my...
None of your pranks, gentlemen. That bottle was intended for me.
No, impossible. Your very kind colleague offered it to the best troops in France, which means us.
Porthos.
Aramis. Athos.
D'Artagnan.
Gentlemen, much could be said on that score. But now our objective is drinking. Once and for all, return the bottle at once.
Just a moment. We could reach a compromise since we are executing a difficult mission for your big boss.
Don't you dare speak like that of our cardinal.
Oh, if you only knew what he said about you when he chose us to do this little job.
But, my friend, let's not go into these lurid postmortems. The wine will be drunk by us, but to the health of Cardinal Richelieu. Satisfied?
Wonderful idea.
Well, let's open the bottle.
You won't open anything, and you'll return that bottle at once.
Oh, no, that's unheard of. You mean you would prevent us from honoring your cardinal?
Be practically insulting His Eminence.
It's we who revere the cardinal. And it's exactly for this reason that it is we who must drink to his health. Understood? And now, if you don't return the bottle, I'll be compelled to take it by force.
Well, I think that tonight we can bank on a good show.
Afraid so.
Musketeers, one for all.
And all for one. Catch it.
Beautiful. There's head work for you.
Our target for the night is the men dressed in black. Our work is cut out for it. Those poor devils are destroying every one.
Unfortunately, we'll be dealing with those four instead.
Well, they're mine. They're like 100.
Whichever side we're on, we'll earn their gratitude if we're of help.
It's water!
Where's that bottle?
I put it on that chest. It disappeared.
Imbecile, it was worth a fortune.
Well, I don't know. Could this be the fortune you speak of?
Yes, but where do you come in?
Through the door?
None of us saw you enter.
You were very busy, gentlemen.
Oh, nothing at all. Just minor business. A bit of exercise to keep us training.
Don't be too modest, gentlemen. I know of only 4 men in the world who could have done what you have done. And one of them is called D'Artagnan.
Your servant, monsieur.
It's a great honor to know you. Then the other 3 must be...
Athos.
Porthos.
Aramis.
Senores, this is a day I shall never forget.
And we like you, too.
And you, by chance, couldn't be the Count of Seville.
Good, Count. We were expecting you.
Pleasure upon pleasure. To be escorted by the most famous swordsman in France is an unlooked-for honor for me. This, I believe, is yours.
Senor, though you are Spanish, you are one of us.
And even though enemies, we'll drink together as good friends from this precious bottle.
By your leave, gentlemen. To share one bottle among so many connoisseurs would be to share a drop of water in the desert.
Quite right, but what do you propose to do about it?
Without any necessity to shower us with kindness, this gentleman has done so much for us that now it is up to us to do at least as much for him.
My sentiments, I agree entirely. And you?
Couldn't agree more.
Me too.
If you'll permit me, my dear friend, Count of Seville, the Musketeers beg you to accept the finest wine of France. Gentlemen, I'm profoundly moved by this wholly unmerited honor. And I beg you to believe that I'll cherish as the apple of my eye this precious bottle. I will drink it only on a gala occasion, and naturally, to your health.
Bravo!
Well spoken.
Well spoken.
He's really very likable, this young man. Pity that he's a Spaniard.
We fought like lions, sire. But the number of assailants was far superior to our forces. There must have been 50 of them, eh, Ramon?
More like 100, sir.
And we recovered from the surprise only to find 3 of my cavaliers dead.
If they prepared an ambush as soon as you entered France, it's a sign the enemy had advance notice of your mission.
Your Majesty's intuition is infallible, as always.
Don't mention it.
Those Frenchmen, in fact, were guided by a Spaniard.
A traitor?
Yes, Your Majesty. Finally, we're sure that Zorro is a traitor.
Zorro?
Yes, Zorro it is. Zorro's the man. As you know, sire, this rebel is so proud of his exploits that he always leaves his signature on his victims.
Zorro. Always Zorro. Ah, but this time I swear you'll pay for it. I'll condemn him to death.
You've already condemned him, Your Majesty.
Ah, yes, it's true. I order you to find him and hang him.
But apparently he is now in France.
We'll go to France and capture
But
him.
there's a war on, sire.
Well, then we'll make peace. But that's... we're going too far. Anyway, hurry up and win this war. I want Zorro in war or peace.
You don't seem over-enthusiastic about the arrival of the Cardinal.
According to an old proverb, it's better to keep far behind cannons, ahead of mules, and far away from cardinals. But for you, it's different. I'd say that His Eminence is the bearer of good tidings.
I surely hope so.
Certainly. We're cut off from everyone. We've been months without seeing anyone. And now they all come together. The Musketeers, your compatriot, and before long, the Cardinal in person.
Have you seen the Spanish Cavalier? Who is he? No, I haven't seen him. I tried looking through the keyhole, but unfortunately I only saw his back.
At least you heard what they were saying. Well, tell me.
I can't.
Oh, you can speak freely in front of Pedro?
I'm earless, senorita.
You may be earless, but she isn't. Your ears shouldn't be exposed to the things my ears were.
Why? Were they discussing putting us to death?
Of course not. What are you thinking of? They were speaking of women.
Oh, if that's all.
Oh. I'd never have believed, dear Isabella, that certain things were possible.
Said you've never heard them talk about the Cardinal.
Your Eminence will deign to give me my orders.
Come with me, Marmontel.
And that is how the Marshal of France married off his daughter without the authorization of the Cardinal.
With authorization or without, I'd enjoy grabbing him around the neck like this bottle. Now, I'll tell you what I would like to do to our dear, dear, gray and eminent Cardinal Richelieu. I dreamed it up last night while I was trying to fall asleep.
Have you ever tried potato chips?
Potato chips make you sleep?
No, but they make you so thirsty that you drink and drink and drink, and before you know it, you're sound asleep.
You'll get better and better as you go along.
Wonderful. Come back here as soon as the war is over. We'll drink together for 3 days in a row.
Your turn, D'Artagnan. Tell us what you plan to do to Richelieu.
Right. This is what I'd do. I'd take a live bumblebee and I'd put him into a goblet like this.
Empty?
Full. And all in one breath, I'd have the Cardinal.
Be careful, Your Eminence. And who is to drink a bumblebee, Monsieur D'Artagnan?
I can't remember.
Let me help you. I heard the first part of the word. It was cardinal.
A cardinal sinner, Monseigneur. Someone who spoke ill of you to them.
I presume you're the Count of Seville?
Won't you be seated, Your Eminence? We can speak better at the table.
Our correspondence was completely satisfactory. Have you the document?
Your Eminence, would you please have the kindness to come to my room?
Please, go yourself. I'll wait here.
But it's not in my room.
You have it with you, then?
No.
But are you joking? You had me come from Paris just to listen to your facetiousness, perhaps?
I would not dare joke with Your Eminence. I've been faithful to our agreements.
Let's see, then. Where is the document?
Here.
Spy.
Careful.
I don't know of a better place to keep the plans of the fortifications.
Excellent idea. So nobody in your country can possibly accuse you of being a traitor because you've destroyed the proof of
This doesn't concern you, D'Artagnan.
I will draw the plan of the fortress in front of you, Your Eminence. This is why I asked you to...
I'll follow you.
One moment, Your Eminence. Seeing that I've kept my part of the agreement, would you mind telling Donna Isabella to make her preparations for leaving? I suppose you have nothing against our departing immediately.
Not at all. I can't wait for this affair to end. Go ahead. Inform the Duchess.
It's shameful. We were fraternizing with a spy. And we've been drinking with him as if he were a friend. And when you think we even gave him a good bottle of Burgundy, it's all my fault.
And may it choke him on the way down is my fond wish.
Please enter, Your Eminence. Captain, your services are required there, at the end of the corridor. The Cardinal and I do not wish to be disturbed on any account.
Very well, sir.
Close the door. One moment, Your Eminence. There's nothing better for assisting the memory and giving inspiration.
I never drink.
But look, Your Eminence, this is the finest wine that France can boast of. Don't you want to try some?
Kidney trouble. I'm sorry.
What a pity.
Count of Seville, I was told that you are without the necessary escort. Is that so?
I needed no further escort. What you so kindly sent me was quite sufficient. The King's Musketeers.
My escort protects you here, in France. But when you return to Madrid, how will you make them believe, monsieur, that you freed Donna Isabella on your own?
I'm sure everyone will believe me, Your Eminence.
Is that so? You have, then, a very poor opinion of the intelligence of all your compatriots. However, as for Donna Isabella, what do you plan to do?
I see no difficulty. As soon as you give me leave, I shall get on the coach with Donna Isabella and her lady-in-waiting. Then the three of us will depart. I should say 4 with my servant. If I can wake him, the lazy devil's always sleeping.
Tell me, do you believe you can make this plan of operations appear a kidnapping?
I won't have to. It won't be a trick. It will be a kidnapping.
I don't understand.
You will understand everything when I tell you that I am not the Count of Seville. And even if I were, I would never reveal the plans of the fortress to you. Take it as I am taking Isabella. By force!
Are you out of your mind? Don't touch me.
cry out and I'll kill you. Sancho!
Did you ring, Master?
Bind and gag him.
Your Eminence, pardon me, but it's an order. An order.
Usually spies look like spies, but he was different. He seemed
Don't
really...
make such a tragedy out of it. What does it matter if he's a spy or he isn't a spy? What's more, even spies can be of some use. This one will help us win the war much sooner than we expected.
To make use of a spy is the same as admitting that the swords of France are no longer worth anything. Do you welcome that thought?
No, of course not. But this little expedient will enable us to save hundreds and hundreds of human lives.
You're right, my friend. Yours is the human point of view. But by the gods, a spy is and always will be a spy.
Sure. And what is to prevent us from putting this miserable worm out of his misery? Once and for all.
Gentlemen, quiet. Calm down, for heaven's sake. France needs the plans of that impregnable fortress.
That's
it's
right.
all in his head.
That's right, but once he's given it to Richelieu, the life of that spy is more than ever expendable.
You're not planning to provoke him.
Why not? Stranger things than that are known to happen.
Captain, His Eminence the Cardinal wishes you to fetch Donna Isabella and her companion and escort them to the courtyard.
Go downstairs. I'll be waiting for you.
Well, gentlemen, shall we go downstairs?
After us, sir.
Have a nice time.
Sancho.
Farewell.
Load the baggage. Aren't you surprised that the Count of Seville has come in person to save you?
But you...
It is I in person, your most devoted Count of Seville. Won't you get in?
I'm grateful, Count of Seville.
My horse!
Cavalier, where's that famous bottle of Burgundy?
Ah, yes. I must thank you again. It was a most courteous gesture.
A misguided courtesy, and now we want it back.
Really? Mm-hmm. This is something I didn't expect.
Are you insinuating that we are doing something that does not conform with the rules of chivalry?
No, certainly not. I've never seen more chivalrous men than you.
That's enough of your chatter. Return the bottle at once.
Certainly. It's in my room. You may go and fetch it when you wish.
Ah, so you left it in your room, have you?
So this is how much you value our gift.
Not only our gift, but all of us. My sensibilities have been wounded. No one has remained alive for this long, senor, after offending us in so grave a manner.
I didn't intend this, gentlemen. And now, if you'll excuse me, we've a long journey ahead.
Yes, a long journey from which no one has ever returned.
Gentlemen, I demand that you obey me. The Count of Seville is under the protection of his
Cardinal
Eminence.
Richelieu has no right to interfere in our private affairs, monsieur. He has no right at all.
My dear friends, we are arguing about nothing. Since the wine no longer exists. I drank it with the Cardinal, and I assure you it was exquisite. Now that the matter is closed, I would like to salute you, thank you, and depart.
Magnificent. So you wanted us to go to your room only to find an empty bottle.
It's an insult that calls for blood.
Gentlemen, sheathe your swords at once. Do you hear me? This is an order.
Oh. A bottle, this is it.
He has thrown it from the window.
But how could I? I was...
That doesn't matter. You've still cheated us. wanted to humiliate us.
I assure you, gentlemen, you're mistaken.
You continue to offend us. On guard.
Gentlemen, put up your swords, I beg you. Gentlemen!
Gentlemen, it's only a minor point of honor. Shake hands, I beg you.
Don't be afraid, my dear Duchess. We'll escort you as far as the border. Cavalier, I said, on guard.
As God is my witness, I've done everything to avoid this.
That's my impression as well. Now we fight it out.
Pauline, let's pray for his life. For his soul is more to the point.
Ha! Think what you're doing.
You'll hear from His Eminence.
It's incredible. I assure you at court he's a laughingstock.
I'm sorry to admit it, but that spy knows how to handle a sword.
Well, this I'd never have expected. Usually traitors are cowardly.
Let them fight it out.
Dwarves! Dwarves! All of you down there, capture him. He's cheated us all. He's not a spy. Come and help me untie the cardinal.
He tied up the cardinal.
He's not a spy.
Soldiers, guards, capture him.
Stop him! Musketeers, follow me.
That dog can't offend our cardinal. It's we who ought to defend his honor.
Oh, stop him. Leave him to them.
You won't escape us.
Then you still intend to kill me?
Not if we can help it, we don't, my friend.
Seeing you're not the traitor we took you for.
Do you always attack your friends with odds of 4 to 1?
Yes, when they're such idiots and they don't realize they can escape by that staircase on my right.
Thank you, my friend.
Hey! Don't stand there like that. Arrest him.
We've left it to the Musketeers. I didn't know they were so attached to you.
Continue not knowing it. Hurry, stop him at once.
Gotta move on. Follow me.
Hey, wait for me.
What are you doing? Stand still. Where are you going?
Well, where are they going? Your Eminence.
All right. Yes. Go that way.
Hey, you won't have to jump far from here.
Hurry up. They're almost here. Pretend you're fighting.
Thank you, my friend.
Once the war is over, we'll meet again over a bottle of good wine.
We'll meet sooner than you think. It's my duty to warn you that I shall return to free Donna Isabella.
This concerns only the castle guards, you and the cardinal.
Adios!
Good luck to you.
Missed him.
How is that?
He escaped?
How could he do that? After him. Follow me.
Shall we pay our respects to the cardinal?
He's running towards the river.
After him.
Get your horses. Get to your horses.
Hey, wait for me.
Now where are you going?
Get the horses.
Not get it.
I'm afraid now they'll take us back to our rooms.
It doesn't matter. I'd remain a prisoner all my life if I were sure he was safe.
Follow me.
Oh, well, our swordsmanship is not up to its usual standards.
I'm well aware of it. We're profoundly ashamed of ourselves.
I don't doubt it.
And I'm sure you're eager for revenge.
Oh, yes, Monseigneur. Oh, yes.
And I don't want you to be deprived of it, as I am more than convinced that that rebel will try again to free her. I leave it to you four to guard Donna Isabella.
But, sir, we are not jailers.
We are soldiers.
And our place is at the siege at Vandermont. Not certainly standing guard over a girl.
And if you let her escape, I'll come to visit you at the Bastille. Gentlemen?
But don't you think Richelieu sent those guards in order to substitute you?
You wouldn't gain much. As policemen, those men have more experience than we have.
If your friend tries to save you once more, I'd say he's mad.
Maybe, but people in love are all slightly mad.
And you think the Count is doing all this for love?
Yes, Manuela. He swore he was in love with me.
You never said that.
No young girl in Spain would have boasted of being courted by such a man.
How strange. Then Spanish women don't like courageous men.
Oh, yes. More than like them.
But the Count of Teruel doesn't enjoy such a reputation. Why, I could hardly believe my eyes the first time I saw him with a sword in his hand.
Believe me, few men can handle a sword like he can.
Well, this means that for love of you, he's taking fencing lessons.
That's impossible. It takes more than that to handle a sword like a master.
You must believe me, in Madrid, where he's well known, he's considered a soft and frivolous dandy.
I assure you this gentleman has been fooling all of you for some mysterious reason.
Lovely man.
Shh, not now.
No other explanation is possible. And it wouldn't surprise us, seeing he's as cunning as a fox.
Did you say a fox?
Yes, senorita. He's just like a fox.
Fox. How do you say that in Spanish?
Zorro.
Of course. I'm sure of it. Then he is Zorro.
Please, may I?
Come in.
Ladies, gentlemen, my captain presents his respects and begs you prepare to leave.
To leave? Where are we going?
To Paris. The noble musketeers have orders to escort you.
Whose orders?
Why, His Eminence the Cardinal's. My captain will show them to you when you come downstairs.
Very well.
Very well. Wonderful. Tell your captain that we'll be ready in 2 minutes.
But if the Count is coming to free you, wouldn't it be best to leave her here?
I would love to remain, sir, but my duty lies elsewhere.
See, whoever tries to get near will be seen by my lookouts.
You are a born strategist, my friend.
Thank you.
But where are the musketeers? I haven't seen them yet.
Look for Donna Isabella, and you will find the musketeers. They never lose sight of her.
And you permit this?
But of course, sir, with those four continually at her side, no escape is possible.
What if she uses this fawn plan of yours to her own advantage?
What plan? Blame yourself.
It won't be the first time an attractive prisoner has seduced her jailers.
But do you think that's possible? I never thought of that.
Well, think of it, Captain.
Certainly.
Now let's get on with the inspection. Captain, what's going on down there?
Hey, you! Who's getting ready to leave?
The prisoners, monsieur.
The prisoners?
Yes, sir, with the musketeers.
You can explain this, Captain. Who gave the order?
You, senor.
I?
That's what I heard, sir.
Now I understand. Sneaking her away under our noses, Captain.
Stop, all of you. Before taking away the prisoners, you must first show me the orders in writing.
It's up to you to show it to us.
What's that? Will you be good enough to explain what you're talking about?
But you could do that better than I, since we're merely executing your orders.
Orders which I've never given.
Not you personally, senor, We had them from one of your men.
Yes, yes, a fellow with a beard and a patch over one eye.
Patches and beards among my men? And no such order was ever delivered.
Then you claim that we're liars, senor?
Yes, and I also accuse you of trying to arrange the escape of Donna Isabella.
You must be mad.
Captain, arrest those men.
Gentlemen, I must ask you to surrender your swords. Come on! Come on! Soldiers! Come on! Come on!
All right, then, to the attack. Give these poor scoundrels a lesson they'll never forget. Well, what are you waiting for? Attack!
Attack them!
Over the gates.
Stop, all of you! They're taken for fools! Stop! Follow the coach! Musketeers, get to your horses! Don't wait! After them! Hurry! After them! Hurry!
Turn back, my friend, much as it displeases us, believe me.
Gentlemen, I won't be displeased at all. I'm due to collect quite a bit of money from your servants.
Donna Isabella would like me to greet you and to thank you for everything.
That's Zorro. He's done just what he promised to do.
He's kept his promise. He's well on his way to Spain by now.
And the Cardinal will send us to the Bastille.
If you want to continue the chase, go right ahead.
It seems that your wish has been granted, senor.
I'll proceed alone to the palace.
May I accompany you?
No, you mustn't forget that there's a reward for your capture.
The reward is for Zorro's capture.
Someone at court might have revealed your true identity.
Yes, I think perhaps you're right.
I often dreamed of this moment when I was a prisoner in the castle. I'd given up hope of seeing Madrid again.
Don't think about it anymore. Your adventure is finished.
Yes, it's finished.
Aren't you glad?
You see, even when danger is present, even in circumstances, however unpleasant...
Pardon me, please. Your carriage is ready, senorita.
She'll come at once. You may go. You were about to say something.
It doesn't matter.
Goodbye, Isabella. Don't forget the story that you have to tell at court.
When will I see you again?
When the young Count of Teruel returns from the Americas.
I'd enjoy giving away your secret. I'd like everyone to know who you are and how brave you are.
It's not possible, Isabella. As long as those vultures are in the king's favor.
You'll continue to be branded as a coward and a fool.
A dandy who could not rouse the slightest interest in.
What do you say?
Remember, it was you who called me that once.
Please forgive me. How could I have ever imagined?
Would you have been more indulgent with Zorro?
Much more indulgent.
Isabella.
What you've been telling us, dear cousin, is simply extraordinary. But what is even more surprising is that Zorro has kept his promise.
Only you have seen him without a mask. You could recognize him, I imagine.
Oh, certainly. I'll never forget his face.
Try and describe it.
He's fair-haired, and his eyes are blue. No, maybe not. They're not blue. They're gray. He's a fine figure of a man. And above all, he's very kind.
He may be a scoundrel, but he is of Spanish blood. I'm not so sure I'll hang him now.
Oh, Your Majesty, you must reward him.
That? Well, I don't know. We mustn't forget, my dear, how insolent he's been. Certainly, though, he has made a fool of Richelieu. That I find very amusing.
Fortunately, that swine has made a false move. We'll very soon see him without his mask.
You think so?
Isabella has fallen in love with her rescuer. The day she chooses a husband, we'll know who Zorro is.
Yes, but the king will pardon him because he freed Donna Isabella.
That's to be seen. A clever accuser can turn a merit into a demerit.
Olé. If it were up to me, I'd write a letter to the Count of Teruel. Dear friend, I said, it is not out of sheer spite that we have come to Madrid in order to kidnap Donna Isabella. But if we didn't, we'd be considered a lot of fools by His Eminence Cardinal Richelieu.
That's right.
And with this, please to consider us your ever affectionate enemies, etc., etc.
Yes. The form is not very good, but the substance of it is.
Shall I have them bring paper and ink?
Yes.
Innkeeper!
Command me. It would be better to write after the kidnapping.
I must say, you have a point there.
There they are.
My man, give us some wine in that case.
Seems our man has something to tell us.
Great news, gentlemen. Donna Isabella's becoming engaged this evening.
Shh! Speak softly. If they discover us, they'll hang us as spies.
Is it to the Count of Teruel?
Yes, sir. He's come back to the Americans.
What do you mean, from the Americas? He was with us in France.
Well, I only know.
Go ahead,
huh? Yes. There's to be a grand ball, gentlemen, in honor of the fiancés at court.
I believe there'll be over 1,000 guests.
Only 1,000? I was told there could be 10,000.
It's settled for 5,000.
The more there are, the greater the confusion. That's the thing that is most important.
Shh! The spies.
With the innkeeper's compliment.
And what are you going to give us?
I've nothing to give.
Well... Listen, Didn't you say that you left your heart in France with Manuela?
I may have left my heart in France, but my body is here.
It's hard to believe our eyes. The daughter of the Duke of the Asturias, the first cousin of the king, engaged to be married to the most foolish man in all Spain.
Might as well say Europe. There's no one quite as mincing as he is.
It's certain that Donna Isabella could aspire to marriage with royalty. There's women.
As for me, he's worth nothing.
Why, yes, of course. He doesn't seem to be much of a man.
Some judge you are. Ah, the Count of Seville. Why, there would have been a husband worthy of Donna Isabella.
A very rich man, and the best swordsman in Spain.
Isabella, my dearest.
Your Majesty, the fortress of Vandremont has fallen.
Announce the falling of the fortress of Vandremont. We've lost the war.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Most Catholic Majesty is grieved to interrupt this splendid celebration, but he's just been advised of some very grave news. The fortress of Vandremont has fallen into the hands of the French.
What can happen to his grace, the Duke of the Asturias?
Isabella, don't worry about your father. Fate always helps the courageous.
Ramon, this is the moment.
I know what I have to do.
Captain.
At your orders, Sir Count.
Take a dozen of your men and go along with my servant. He'll explain what it's about.
Yes, sir.
Your Majesty, I'm convinced that the fortress has fallen through treachery.
This is blasphemy. I know each one of the soldiers defending it, beginning with their commander.
But I was saying that...
Close the door. You were saying?
It is clear, sire. If a garrison of heroes like that has been defeated, then someone must have betrayed them.
That's so, but such infamy.
Someone whose first-hand information gave him great advantage.
Follow me.
I shouldn't have run away. The French will take it out on my father.
The French have a code of honor. Now that the war is over, no one will dare touch it.
Have more faith in Providence, dear child.
His Majesty desires to speak with you, Count of Teruel.
Very well, Father.
I'll wait for you. I'm not tired.
And be careful, Captain, because he's not a man, he's a devil.
If you let him escape, I'll see that it's you who are hanged.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty, I am at your orders.
In that case, The time has come for the settling of accounts. Zorro.
Zorro? Are you speaking of the cavalier who carved his initial on the fort of the Count of Seville?
Precisely. I'm speaking of you.
Me? Oh, I beg you, Your Majesty. If you mean me, it's if you called me the Alexander the Great or Attila the Hun.
Permit me, sire. How did you succeed in convincing Donna Isabella to become engaged to you?
She evidently likes me.
No, I'll tell you how you did it. You freed her from imprisonment at St. Denis, and she...
You know very well that I've never even held a sword in my hand.
The sword wasn't needed. You freed Donna Isabella through intrigue.
The French helped you engineer this adventurous kidnapping, and you in exchange gave them the plans of the fortifications.
With Your Majesty's pardon, I hope you're not taking seriously a man who is driven by jealousy.
You're unmasked, Zorro. Deny having been in France when Donna Isabella escaped.
Of course I deny it. I was in the Americas then.
And did you have a good voyage?
Excellent, thank you, both going and coming back.
As for going, it's possible. And as for coming back, maybe you didn't know that the Santa Cruz, the ship on which you should have been sailing, sank with all aboard off the coast of Africa.
Well, you've nothing further to tell me now?
None of this proves the accusations of the Count of Seville, sire.
Your Majesty, we've just searched the house of the Count of Teruel, and this is what I found in his desk.
The seal of Richelieu.
The Cardinal promises to release Donna Isabella in exchange for the plans of the fortress.
Here's the proof of your treachery.
It would be evidence if you could prove that it was addressed to me.
You've destroyed the envelope, obviously.
The letter was in your house. The accusation is proven. You will be beheaded in 2 days' time.
But, Your Majesty...
Try to rest now, Senorita. Then you can go to the king and ask for clemency.
Oh, I will never convince him. I know.
You mustn't lose hope.
Go now, Pedro.
Don't be frightened. We're back again.
You, gentlemen. What are you doing here?
We have come to take you away, Donna Isabella. We're here to re-kidnap you and take you to France.
Oh, no. I beg you, don't take me away at a time like this. Only with my prayers can I hope to convince the king to save him from death.
But why? Don't tell me the king intends suicide. Impossible.
Of course
Then
not.
who is about to die?
The man I love. Gentlemen, I beg you, have compassion on him, even if you must hate him for that joke he played on you at St. Denis.
But you're not speaking of Zorro.
Yes. He'll be executed in 2 days' time. For high treason.
Ridiculous. There isn't a more loyal cavalier in your whole kingdom.
And he has been accused of having lost the war for Spain.
Nonsense. Only we have lost the war for Spain.
What was that? Spain has lost the war.
Yes. The fortress of Vandremont has been taken.
But then the war is over.
Mademoiselle, do please accept our apologies. Considering that the war is over, it's no longer our military duty to kidnap you.
And so it seems we made this long voyage for nothing.
For nothing? Snatching a respected enemy from the executioner seems a very worthy endeavor. And an extremely amusing one.
You mean it?
But it goes without saying. In fact, this is the best way of showing Zorro that we're as clever as he is.
Oh, gentlemen, how can I ever thank you?
Don't even mention it. It's our way of getting back at him.
Your revenge is worthy of 4 valiant gentlemen.
Father Confessor, I've nothing to confess. I only want to be left in peace.
Peace of mind, my son, elevates the soul above the body. Pray now, my son. No miracle is impossible to those of faith and hope.
Well, you're the last person I ever expected to see before dying.
Don't speak of dying before you're near the rope.
Shh. Beheaded, if you please. I'm a nobleman.
All right, but you won't have that pleasure either. My friends and I have decided to liberate you.
You really are my best enemies. But don't you think it's going to be a bit difficult?
You have need of a little courage. Water is depressing. See what I mean? Tomorrow, when you are brought to the scaffold, I will be there to give you moral comfort. You might even say spiritual.
Do you mean that your spiritual comfort will open the gates of paradise for me?
You're not headed for paradise yet. On the scaffold, in place of the execution, will be Porthos. And D'Artagnan and Athos will be there as his assistants. And all of their faces covered by hoods. You understand?
Yes. But what happens when the executioner doesn't behead me?
All hell will break loose.
Let me get this straight. How will your friends take the place of the executioner and his assistants?
Don't let that worry. We're working on it now.
Bottoms up, my friends. Nothing is better than a good glass of wine to prepare for an execution.
Tomorrow is important. We're beheading a nobleman.
Nobleman?
But how is it with you in Paris? The populace, is it so difficult to please?
I can't even describe it. They're so exacting that all the executions are entrusted exclusively to the members of our family, the family of the Sansons.
Bring up, then, to the health of the Sanson family. On your feet. Stand up.
I'm standing.
Oh.
The point is, even though we are very capable, we are always ready to learn in all humility what they do abroad.
Of course, and it's because of this that we are taking this instructive tour of Europe.
You're so right. The profession must be bettered for the benefit of all.
Our profession, our profession.
To our profession. I imagine we have many things to learn from you, eh?
Well, our national torture is strangling.
Ah, long live strangling.
Long live.
Well, as for strangling, I modestly claim the lightest touch in all of Spain. For example, there's a ring.
A ring?
A ring, which is tightened around the throat by turning a screw. A screw. Well, I can turn the screw a mere hair's breadth at a time.
A mere breadth?
A mere breadth, so that the torture lasts longer.
How wonderful. How wonderful. Unbelievable.
Yes, unbelievable.
To your house.
Congratulations. What a first-class company we have here. But your glasses are disgracefully empty. How could you?
We shouldn't drink too much. Tomorrow we must be at our best.
Nonsense. At my last beheading, I drank all night till they came to call me to the execution.
Ah, and you were feeling chipper?
Never felt chipper.
Ah, we've had it.
Well, chip, chip, chipper! Chip, 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 chipper!
Hey, chipper, wine!
Chip, 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 chip.
You pushed me out of bed and there's no one here yet.
That means we won't miss a thing. Not every day you can see them behead a nobleman.
But then we should have taken the kids along.
No, they didn't deserve it. They've been naughty all week long.
You're right.
Please, Isabella, come away. Don't stand there watching this horror.
Before long, I'll see him.
Isabella.
Excuse me, Manuela. I didn't even think to ask you about your trip.
I've told you all that happened. After our escape, they accompanied me to the frontier, me and Sancho. You mustn't lose hope.
I'm so afraid.
But the musketeers have promised they'll save him. So why are you worrying? If I were in your place, I wouldn't worry at all.
Nothing to worry about, Zorro. I am at your side.
my son, you must be humble and penitent if you wish to save your soul.
That's understood. But I thought that you were going to save my body first.
Your body? How could you think that?
What is this, a game? Are you backing out now?
But just where's your fantasy leading you? Some compunction on the threshold of death would be more to the point.
Then you are a friar.
What did you think I was?
Nothing, Father. Begin the De Profundis.
De profundis clamaviate Domini, Domini, Domini exudimus mea.
It's unthinkable that the executioner is not here. We can't possibly delay executions.
My men are looking for him high and low, Your Excellency.
Some snuff?
Everything will be all right.
Let's hope so.
The whole thing was set up by my master. By you mean your master can think? Why, what do you mean? We're just joking. Hey, fellas. Listen, the horses are already saddled. That's fine. Are they armed? Who is? The horses. Saddled, stupid. But gee, you never explained yourself. Hey, that face over there looks familiar. Which one? The one next to the old geezer.
Certainly, it's Sancho!
Yeah,
Sancho!
Sancho! Sancho! Over here! Sancho!
Hi, Sancho.
So you've come to enjoy the performance, eh?
If you think I could possibly enjoy watching my master die on the scaffold...
What do you mean? I mean our master's performance, when they saved yours.
Musketeers?
Yeah! You didn't know anything about it. Enough of that.
Jose! Pablo! Wake up! Wake up!
What time is it?
Late! Oh my God, it's late! Jose! Pablo! Wake up! By the horns of the devil! Wake up!
After the trailer! After the
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up, you! Wake up! Oh! What are you doing?
Now you won't be able to behead our friend.
I won't, but by this time, Master Pedro's taking care of it.
Who is Master Pedro?
He's my substitute. Now he'll do the beheading. But let me go.
That'll take care of him.
Let's tie him up quickly. Quickly.
Oh, listen. It's him you must tie up, not me.
You hear the procession? In a moment, it'll be here.
Listen.
friar's tunic is Aramis.
Magnificent!
Shh! And under the executioner's hood is Porthos. When he raises the axe, that's the signal. And that's when all of us go into action.
Into action?
Yes.
Sir.
And that includes you.
On foot?
Keep quiet.
On foot?
On horseback.
On horseback.
On horseback.
On horseback.
Quick, hurry up. I swear I'll never take another drop for the rest of my life.
Your life doesn't matter now. It's Zorro's. It's too late to do anything for him, but Fraber's a mortal sin.
There are horses for all of us in the stables.
All right. Let's at least try and charge anyway.
There are at least 300 armed men in the square.
Wait a minute. There's a wagon piled with wood with the horses attached.
What do you hope to do with wood?
Hurry, follow me. Come on.
Don't waste any more time. Chop off his damn head.
It's treachery. Arrest them.
Did you see? What did I tell you?
Return, dear cousin. You've no reason for looking so sad.
You know very well, Your Majesty, that my troubles aren't over.
Your daughter is an ingrate, dear uncle. I had chosen a maid of whom she could have been proud. The Count of Seville, the man who unmasked the real traitor.
But I have already told you there was no treachery, sire. We had to surrender for lack of food and ammunition.
Oh, true, I forgot. Still, the letter of Richelieu spoke very clearly.
What about the behavior of Zorro, Your Majesty? Why, if he is really innocent, doesn't he defend himself?
The Count of Teruel.
Well, Count of Teruel, your presence at court is not at all desirable.
Pardon me, sire. I am here to beg that you receive 4 gentlemen of France who have come purposely from Paris to prove to you Zorro's innocence.
His Majesty cannot receive just anyone.
Calm, calm. This situation intrigues me to the point that I'd grant audience to anyone. Have them enter. Have them enter.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Be prepared for more fantastic lies.
Your Majesty, permit me to present to you the 4 gentlemen of France. Senores,
Athos.
Porthos,
Aramis. D'Artagnan.
Musketeers of His Majesty, the King of France.
What magnificent soldiers. Gentlemen, if you'd like to pass over to the service of the King of Spain, I'll make you all captain.
Your Majesty, we are ready to serve you at once. If you would be so good as to read this letter.
Good heavens, who gave it to you? His Eminence?
Not exactly, sire. It was in the desk of His Eminence, Cardinal Richelieu. And so we very cleverly...
Bravo, Count of Seville. So you revealed the plans of the fortification. Arrest him! Stop him, I say! Don't let him escape! Capture him!
Musketeers, attack!
You!
Count of Seville, this time I'll show no pity.
Be careful, little man. You might just connect with my sword. Back up, buffoon!
Surratt, now it's our turn. You're trapped, my friend.
You weren't looking for me, were you? Well, here I am. Sire, if you consider fighting for honor and justice a sign of guilt, then I am guilty.
No, no, not at all. Rise up, Count of Teruel. It is I who lack confidence in you. How can I ever hope to be forgiven for my injustice, for my errors?
Can't you guess, sire?
And I extend my thanks to all of you as well, intrepid musketeers, and renew my invitation, should you wish to remain with us.
Thank you, Your Majesty, but we are obliged to return to France.
Pity.
Goodbye, Zorro.
Goodbye, my friends, and remember, if you ever need my help, I owe you my life.
We'll remember you as a friend, always ready to help us, never as a debt.
You owe us absolutely nothing.
We've done nothing but reciprocate your courtesy.
Courtesy? What courtesy?
You should know, since you saved our lives as well.
But certainly, if it hadn't been for all your fancy tricks, we would have died in this war, from boredom.
Well, here's to the next one.
Your Majesty.